years. Someone as lowly as you was born to sit at such crude furniture. I lowered my head awkwardly, only to see my mother's fists clenched tightly beneath the table. Because Fu Yunqi refused to marry me, my mother had always disliked him. Yet today, she remained silent. After a moment, Fu Yunqi spoke his farewell. When I was in trouble, you bought me. These past years, I've worked in your household from sunrise to sunset. I believe this labor repays your kindness. From now on, we are even, owing each other nothing. After saying this, he stood up, bowed slightly to my mother, and turned to leave with Princess Anning. I grew anxious and wanted to stop him, but my mother held me back. Only after the sound of the carriage faded into the distance did she sigh. Daughter, give up. I told you long ago, he's not one of us. That day when I first bought Fu Yunqi, my mother had already said those words. But I didn't listen, because I inherited my mother's weakness for good looks. When the officers brought the criminal slaves to town for sale, I spotted Fu Yunqi at a glance among the crowd. He looked frail and thin, but his eyes were beautiful. With just a light glance at me, my face turned red. The day I brought him home, he fell ill. When Dr. Lu came to examine him, he said he was barely holding on to life. When we paid for the medicine, my mother kept sighing, scolding me for being blinded by appearances, for buying a sickly man who would only cost us more money. She said at a glance that he wasn't the same kind of person as us. At the time, I never imagined he was once a noble grand tutor, nor did I expect he would hate becoming my husband so much. And I certainly never imagined he would one day leave this harsh land. In short, Fu Yunqi left just like that. That night, I lay in bed staring at the bright moon outside the window, unable to sleep. Irritated, I reached into my pillow and touched a piece of paper. Looking at the crooked writing on it, I remembered it was Fu Yunqi's contract of servitude. It should be returned to him. So before dawn the next day, I set out with the document in hand. The inn where Fu Yunqi stayed was 20 miles away. I didn't dare rest along the way and only managed to arrive before the rooster crowed. The inn was strictly guarded, and commoners like me couldn't enter directly. I could only ask the gatekeeper to pass on a message. Just as I was about to fall asleep from waiting, Fu Yunqi came out slowly with Princess Anning. When he saw me, he frowned. Princess Anning spoke first. Why are you here again? I glanced at Fu Yunqi, feeling awkward. He had already changed into fine clothes similar to hers, completely different from when he used to push the millstone at my home. Standing before him now, I suddenly felt short of breath. At that moment, I finally understood what he meant by not suitable. Standing beside Princess Anning, he looked far more fitting than he ever did beside me. After a long pause, I stuttered. I came to see when you're leaving. Princess Anning rolled her eyes. What does that have to do with a despicable opportunist like you? I didn't know when I had become such a person. Fu Yunqi stopped her. We're leaving soon. Hearing that, I felt flustered. He looked at me and said, I've told you long ago, I won't be your husband. Go back early and stop troubling me. I had heard those words countless times before, but never had they sounded so harsh. While feeling hurt, I touched the contract in my sleeve. Seeing him about to get into the carriage, I hurriedly called out, wait. Princess Anning snapped impatiently. What now, you village girl? I handed it over. You left this behind. She snatched the document and passed it to him. After seeing what it was, his expression relaxed. Then, right before my eyes, he tore it into pieces. I am now a free man. This contract is useless to me. I stared blankly at the fluttering scraps of paper. Thank you for making the trip. Go back early. We're leaving. He turned toward the carriage. I called out again. Wait. What else? I spent 5 taels of silver to buy you. He paused, then turned to Princess Anning. Anning, give her 5 taels of gold. She